Howdy everyone, it's been a while. Welcome to the second devlog for Deadeye Deepfake Simulacrum. It's an immersive sim about hacking computers and shooting 500 people. It's the best game ever made. Last time, we talked about procedurally generating weapons. This time, we'll look into the design and implementation of DDS's granular text-based hacking system. So granular, you can hack the individual bullets flying at you. Hacking in video games is weird. It's been abstracted as pattern-finding minigames, special navigation puzzles, whatever the hell this thing is. Video games have a lot of weird ideas about what hacking is like. They'll have you thinking hacking looks like this, or this, or this, or this, or this, when most of you sitting at home probably think hacking looks like this. And actual real-life hacking usually looks like this most of the time.
Choosing Pizza. How can I help you this morning?
Yeah, this is Mr. Pizza. I'm gonna need your Wi-Fi password. Some games actually pursue that Hollywood hacker look. Games like Hacknet, Quadrilateral Cowboy, or the more recent Midnight Protocol all have you entering bash-style commands in a little terminal, compromising websites using realistically flavored exploits. The game Uplink, way back in 2001, had you doing some stuff like calling people to get their voice footprint, or bouncing your connection around the world to delay a trace. I knew from the start of my project that I wanted a text-based interface to grant that authentically made-up Hollywood hackerman feel. Some immediate design challenges became apparent though. In games like Uplink, hacking is all you're doing. You've got nothing to worry about beyond the expansive interface and typing out commands on your little keyboard. Quadrilateral Cowboy is a little more spicy, combining hacking with 3D navigation and puzzle solving, along with some stationary enemies and environmental hazards. But in Deadeye Deepfake Simulacrum, players are going to be shooting and sploding and running all over these big sandbox-style missions. It's not the sort of calm and relaxing environment that makes you want to crack open a laptop and push some buttons. For hacking to work, it would need to complement this wildly different mode of tactical top-down shooting gameplay. Hacking needs to have a direct impact on the action and physical space of a level, and the physical space of the level needs to have a direct impact on hacking. Deus Ex Human Revolution has this really fun and cool node-based hacking minigame, but this network of nodes is sort of self-contained in a separate instance. You aren't really hacking through the network in a level, you're more just playing a board game against like an ATM machine or whatever. My goal will be to make a graph-based system like this, but overlay it on top of the entire level. With that in mind, I came up with a rough sketch of the system. When moving through the world, the player can open their laptop and hack into computers within their line of sight. Once hacked in, the player can type out commands specific to that computer. These commands might do things like disable a camera or make a turret your friend. The player should also be able to snap their vision radius to any computer they're connected to, so they can begin to hack other computers previously out of view. The player should also be able to connect to computers via permanent built-in connections between computers that ignore distance and line of sight. The first thing I implemented was the hacking interface. By pressing a button, the player can enter hacker mode. Their movement and attack controls are disabled, and additional UI elements appear on screen that are interactable with the mouse cursor. I added this little laptop animation with two rectangles. DDS looks but simple, so I'm always looking for little details like this to add. This little laptop on your character also helps with that blending of game modes I talked about earlier. The bread and butter of the interface is this little terminal here. I used a mask and vertical layout group to stack the text elements, and I made the window draggable following this tutorial I'll link down below. It turns out an infinitely accumulating number of text boxes actually slows down the game quite a bit, so I implemented an object pool to recycle old text elements at the beginning of the history. Finally, I added some key press sound effects to make the hacking feel extra crunchy. Processing commands is really simple. I just take the entered input string and match it to a list of basic commands. If it doesn't match any of those commands, I'll see if it matches a command specific to the computer you're connected to. Computers. So we probably need to define what a computer is in Deadeye Deepfake Simulacrum. Writing a base class for all computers was the next step. It's not that complicated. Computers need a name to refer to them by, a reference to our terminal so they can print out responses and stuff, a list of references to other computers they're connected to, a description of what they can do, and a virtual method that will process strings from the terminal and perform the correct behavior. And we're just about ready to start hacking. The next thing I did was add the 3 most basic commands to the terminal. These were printing out a list of all the computers you can connect to, connecting to a computer, and snapping your vision to the computer you're connected to. For that first command, I added an object with a big circle collider that follows the camera around. When a computer collides with it, it's added to a dictionary of computers in range, and removed if it ever exits that collider. The first command, which I initially dubbed Neighbors, just prints out the names of all the computers in that dictionary, showing what you can connect to. It also prints any computers that are in that list of permanent references I mentioned earlier. The next command, Hop, lets us connect to a computer given its name. All it does is set a reference denoting our connection to the specified computer. I added a delay and loading bar that disables your terminal for this command. This simulates the process of password cracking the computer. My goal was to give the action a sense of weight to it, and create tension while you're waiting to crack a computer as cybernetic monstrosities are rushing in to munch your butt. The next command, Snap, tells the camera to start following whatever computer you're connected to. Finally, I added some help commands that just print out all your basic actions along with that information box every computer has that I mentioned earlier. There are a lot of other basic commands, but I'm not going to bother covering them all in this video. Next up is designing a computer with unique commands. I'll use the security turret as an example of this. Turrets are basically just stationary enemies. They have a gun, an AI module, and they'll shoot anything that isn't on their team. To make them hackable, I just add a turret computer script to the existing prefab. This class inherits from the computer base class and overrides the process input method from before. It takes the input string as a parameter and selects the correct behavior based on a menu of options. I added the command suspend to put the turret to sleep, befriend to turn it to your side, and pilot to let the player take direct control. Now I just have to write a little info paragraph describing what all the commands do. The player can print this out using the help command. Voila! Turrets are now part of our hacking system. Making entities hackable is extremely easy using this workflow. Because it's all text-based, I don't need to make any new graphical assets or fancy visuals. I just write a few lines of code for each new behavior and unlock a ton of new possibilities for the player. And I can make pretty much anything in the game hackable just by adding a computer component and specifying a few commands in the process input method. I can put computers on turrets, cameras, enemies. I can even put computers on live grenades or the individual bullets flying out of your gun. Bullets move pretty quick though, so you're going to need to either type really fast or use an ability to slow them down. I added a rotate command that takes an angle in degrees. The player can use this command to steer bullets into enemies midair, or use them as a jumping off point to hack additional targets from far away. So the meat and potatoes of the hacking system are done, but we have a little problem on our hands. Hacking is just busted in its current form. It is just too damn strong. There is nothing to stop you from finding a computer, hacking it, hacking all its neighbors, hacking every enemy on the map, and cheesing the entire game so you can refund it before the 2 hours are up. Designing a way to limit the player's hacking potential proved difficult. The system went through several iterations before I found one that I really liked. I designed all these systems, man, where you had to play this crappy tile mini game that punished you if you messed up, and there was this one where this death timer started if you hacked too many computers that would just kill you, and you had to find other computers to delay the countdown. And I tried this one system where you had this hacker juice stat tied to your skeleton, and that determined how much you could hack. But all these systems pretty much boiled down to hey, player, you're having too much fun hacking. Stop having fun. You're having too much fun. This game is supposed to be hard. You're going to beat it too quick. The final system I tried combined all the previous iterations in a way. See, another problem I haven't talked about is finding a way to incentivize some hacking commands over others. For example, why would the player want to kill a cyborg through hacking when they could just as easily convert it to their side and have it kill many cyborgs around it? The final system made hacking into computers and issuing commands cost a new resource called data. Some commands cost less data than others, giving you reason to use them even if they're less powerful. Data represents your understanding of the network, and thus your capacity to compromise it. If you run out of data, you can get more by exploring the level and finding more computers. When a player sees a computer for the first time, they are given 1 point of data, and some computers like the data store award several points of data by issuing a dedicated command. For the sake of balance, some computers don't award data, like the computers inside of enemies and the computers inside of individual bullets. Otherwise, you could generate all the data you need just by unloading your gun. Now if a player gets into a situation where they're hacking computers and run out of data, the solution isn't to stop hacking for the rest of the run, it's to explore the level and find more data. It's not just stop having fun, it's hey, stop having this kind of fun and go have some other types of fun for a little while, and then you can have more of this type of fun. I realize that some players are just going to want to hack and not have those other types of fun I just mentioned. DDS is all about character customization and finding your own way to play, so I added a dedicated hacker class you can unlock right from the start. This class lets you get free data, add computers to your minimap without finding them in the level, all sorts of stuff like that that breaks the regular limitations of hacking. While it's a little bit confusing at first, I found that this data point system of hacking worked really well. It made hacking more dynamic, it gave you more choices to juggle, and it tied hacking better to the rest of gameplay. For more fun, I added one additional soft limitation on hacking in the form of the system overlord. This is a computer in the level that begins harassing the player once you hack your first computer. Every time you hack a new computer, the overlord gets a little angrier and starts to ramp up its attacks bit by bit. This starts with warning messages in your terminal and tiny amounts of money being drained from your account, but eventually evolves into distortions of the screen, making you visible through walls to enemies, and forcibly unloading your weapon or throwing grenades involuntarily. If I'm being honest, the overlord system is a little bit undercooked right now. I'll be improving this system in the future to make the system overlord a little bit more of a character. Well, that does it for this devlog. If you liked the video, consider slapping those like and subscribe buttons down below. You can also wishlist Deadeye, Deepfake, Simulacrum using the link in the description. There's even a playable demo up on the store page if you want to try out this hacking system for yourself. Tune in next time and we'll talk about AI or something.